Tim Kaine, the entertainment editor at the Herald and Review, and I'm at my desk. One thing that is widely prevalent today that never used to be is weekend movie grosses. If you're at all interested, you know early on Monday how each weekend went at the box office for each film. It never used to be that way. I remember being a subscriber to Village Voice in the late 70s, and that was the only place you could get that information. And it was all inexact. It was basically one writer who was making intelligent guesses about what movie grosses were. Now, each one of us, if we choose to, can be experts about the marketing and grosses of films. The problem I have with this is I don't think it enhances our enjoyment of movies at all. I think it leads some of us, probably all of us at one point or another, to make an assumption about a movie that we haven't seen and make an incorrect assumption about a movie. And this comes to mind because I was reading Jim Varell's blog about the Scott Pilgrim movie. And in one of the comments, somebody said, well, nobody went to see this movie. Well, that's not right. I mean, maybe not a whole lot of people went to see the movie, but my guess is, based on the numbers I saw, at least 1 million people went to see it. And that's certainly something more than nothing, more than nobody. And who knows how many of those people enjoyed it. If you're making a value judgment based on the amount of money that a movie brings in at the box office, then you're going to tell me that you think Avatar is the best film ever made? If you think that, that's fine. But you should think that based on what's here, rather than what you're seeing, or rather than the amount of money that comes through the box office on it. This comes to mind only because I've been hearing this movie quoted so much lately, so much more than it was in the office here 5 years ago. And 5 years ago, there were people who worked in this office who I knew adored this movie. And my guess is because it's being shown more and more on cable and it's become more and more ingrained in people's heads, people are quoting it regularly. But Office Space is a great example of what I'm talking about. If you look at the box office gross of Office Space, it was a despised film. It made a total of $10.8 million at the box office. And I remember when it came out, I remember thinking, how good can this be? Even though I knew Mike Judge was involved with it. And I adore Mike Judge. I was one of the people who didn't go see it in the theater. Now, I don't like it as much as a lot of people do, because there are a lot of people who love it, but I still appreciate it for what it is. And my guess is there aren't 3 days in this office that go by without somebody throwing out a quote from Office Space in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, hi, it's Bill Lund.
Sounds like a case of the Mondays.
You know what I'm talking about. Oh.
I believe you have my stapler.
So does that $11 million, $10.8 million at the box office, does that mean it was a lousy movie? No, it doesn't. It just means that it didn't find its audience at the right time. Just because whichever of the Shrek films you hate the most made into 9 figures, that doesn't make that a good movie. You know, I think the best thing and the smartest thing all of us can do is make up our own minds about this stuff, rather than deciding based on what someone else says, or the box office numbers that you read, or the stars in the chart in the newspaper, or the grade that the reviewer gives it on an A to F system. Ignore that stuff and make up your own mind, because that's the way we find the art that we love. That's the way we explore the things that expand our minds and make our lives better and happier and help us shuffle along this mortal coil a little more comfortably. See, my bitterness is back. I told you it'd get there. I'm Tim Kaine. I'm at my desk.